It's Saturday, October 17th, 2020. Thank you so much for joining me today. Please make sure to give this video a thumbs up and please subscribe to this channel. If you're already subscribed, please hit the bell notification down below so that you are alerted with the newest videos. Also, make sure you come over to my Patreon channel where we can talk more openly about what's happening politically and socially. I'll be putting up a new video hopefully tomorrow. If you're having a hard time finding the Patreon channel, just go to my website down below, jeremiahbabe.com. You'll find the link at the website. Click it. It'll take you right to Patreon. I want to start today with what is happening here in the U.S. economy. And there are people out there that will continue to tell me, they continue to tell you there's nothing to worry about. It's doom and gloom. You need to be in these markets. You shouldn't be stockpiling gold and silver. You shouldn't be saving up cash. What you need to be doing is gambling in the stock market because that's where all the smart money is. Hey, you can do whatever you want to do. I'm just sharing with all of you what I'm doing, and I read the comments down below. Many of you are very awake to what's going on. Many of you getting rid of the debt. You're stockpiling gold and silver. You're putting cash away, food, water, all the preparations. So 98% of the people watching these videos are quite aware of what's going on, but there's still those people out there that believe that you need to be in this overvalued bubble, this Ponzi scheme called the stock market. What they don't realize is this is not their parents' stock market. This is not grandpa's stock market any longer. It is completely controlled and manipulated by the big banks now. And we are sitting on massive bubbles across the globe, not just one country, but massive bubbles with most of the world now printing money to infinity, creating these massive bubbles. And it's going to end very, very badly. And for people who are solely in the stock market, I feel very sorry for them. If you're not diversified with preparations, with gold, with silver, with some cash, with assets, you're going to be in very, very big trouble. In 2016, a total of 62,984,828 votes were cast for this president. Here in 2020, 63,600,000 people, Americans, filed new claims for unemployment. We are clearly witnessing a collapse in unemployment here in America. And yet somebody wrote to me today that everything's okay where they live. They're in the mid-Atlantic area. So I think that consists of New York, New Jersey, Washington, D.C., telling me millions of cars are on the roads. People are, there's just so much work going on. While everybody's getting out of New York, everybody's getting out of New Jersey, I look at the debt in West Virginia. I see the amount of people on food stamps in West Virginia. You see what's happening in Washington, D.C., and I don't have offhand what other states consist of the Mid-Atlantic, but if you're going to base the Mid-Atlantic states to what's happening to the full U.S. economy, we're in pretty big trouble because the Mid-Atlantic isn't doing that great. Look at the debt of these states, and to that person, he wouldn't say what state he lived in, probably because it's bankrupt also. But from what I can tell, many of the states in the Mid-Atlantic are bankrupt. And again, there are always exceptions to the rule. There are areas that are doing very, very well. There are people that are doing very, very well. But as a whole, when we look at this number right here, 63,600,000 people in America have filed new claims for unemployment. That's over 8 months, yet everything's going to be okay. You need to be investing in the stock market. You need to be buying into these massive bubbles, these all-time highs, these overvaluations, this Ponzi scheme. You can do that, and there's nothing wrong. If you want to diversify and you're in the market and you're buying assets and you've got a cash reserve put away and you own some land and you've got all your preps, great, fantastic. I'm just sharing with you what I'm doing. The only thing I'm investing in the market is mining stocks. Other than that, I'm completely out. It's cash reserves, it's gold, it's silver, it's mining stocks for me right now, and of course all preparations. And And when I read articles like this one here on CNBC, it reinforces my belief. Just again, sharing with you what I'm doing, not telling you to do anything. I don't give financial advice. If you want to go 100% all in the stock market, God bless you and good luck. But this article, the average American has $90,460 in debt. Here's how much debt the average American has at every age. Gen X, this is 18 to 23, has $9,593 of debt. I couldn't even imagine being 18 years old or 23 years old and having nearly $10,000 in debt. Millennials, 24 to 39, they have $78,396 in debt. Gen X, that's 40 to 55, has $135,841 of debt. Baby boomers, 56 to 74, they have $96,984 in debt. And the silent generation, 75 and above, $40,925 of debt. When we look at credit cards, Gen X, which is your 18 to 23-year-olds, have the highest credit card balance compared to other age groups. They're at $8,215. Can you imagine being this young and having this kind of debt? I mean, when you look at the job market, when you look at wages, and you look at kids 18 to 23 holding over $8,000 in debt, how do they ever get out of this hole? And just remember this compounding interest. Gen X has the highest auto loan balance at $21,570. I mean, just think about the credit cards and the car loans. You're at $30,000 and you're 21 years old. Mortgage loans. Gen X has the highest average mortgage at $238,344. Personal loans. On average, baby boomers have the highest personal loan balance. That sits at $19,253. Student loan debt. Gen X has the highest amount of student loan debt on average at $39,981. Let's talk HELOCs, home equity line of credit. With these massive low interest rates now, there's lots of Americans pulling equity lines out of their homes at these low rates. And they're doing that to survive. This is how people are getting by now. You know, we wonder, how are people doing it with the low wages, with the massive unemployment? You know, they pulled equity lines out of their homes, and they're praying to God that we don't see a big correction in residential real estate, and it's coming. And when that happens, these people are completely wiped out. They're using their homes as ATMs right now just to survive. The highest group was the Gen X, and the average equity line of credit was $49,221. When you look at the massive debt here in America, when this economy completely implodes, when these markets implode, when this housing market, and I know nobody out there believes the housing market's going to crash, just like they thought that the commercial real estate market wasn't going to crash. Commercial real estate is now in depression, and it is coming to the housing market right here in America. And I'm saying that right to all of your faces right now. Those people out there that believe that housing is not going to correct or collapse, you are delusional. Just like the people who believe you need to be investing in an overvalued bubble Ponzi scheme, the stock market right now too. Why would anybody buy this high, buy at the top of the market, buying homes, buying real estate at the top of the market right now? I think these people are very blind. To me, it's clear as day what's going to happen. It's clear as day that these are sitting in major bubbles. The stock market, real estate, major bubbles. They will burst. This is going to make 2008 look like a picnic. Wolfstreet.com, really good article. Stimulus and debt, deferral economy. And this article made some really good points. I'll kind of paraphrase through this. Retail sales were up 1.9% in September from August, so that's great news. People weren't flying though. They weren't staying at hotels. They weren't going to the movies. 7% of households with mortgages got their mortgages moved into forbearance. So the people out there telling you that life is good, my friends, telling you that you need to be investing in the stock market, that the real estate market is doing wonderful. They don't want to talk about, the 7% or the 4 to 5 million households who have mortgages in forbearance, meaning they haven't made a house payment in 3, 4, 5 months. They don't talk about that. So it's nice how we can manipulate these numbers. We just call it forbearance, or we call it moratoriums. We have words like that just so we don't see the real numbers. Another 4 or 5 million homes in default. This makes 2008 look like Sunday school, ladies and gentlemen. So 7% of households with mortgages move those mortgages into forbearance, and they no longer have to make mortgage payments for the time being, right? These payments that were meant for those mortgage payments are now going into spending in retail. They're going into buying cars, new cars, used cars. We look at renters. They've been protected by these eviction bans. So they stop paying rent. So what are they doing? They're going out and they're buying, big screen TVs. They're buying used cars. Not everyone, but many of these people in these moratoriums, in these forbearances, are out spending money because they're not having to spend it on rent or on their mortgage payment. Then there was stimulus payments. Remember, people were getting unemployment plus $600. Now they're getting unemployment with $300. That's going to run out. But in the meantime, all of this stimulus, the $600, the $300, the $1,200, all the unemployment, this has allowed people to go out and spend. People bought new and used cars. They bought fewer used vehicles, but they paid more for them. Sales at gas stations included junk food, soda, beer, motor oil rose 1.5% in September from August. E-commerce sites edged up 0.5% from August. So people are going to continue to spend even while they're not working, as long as the government is giving them money. Department store sales jumped 9.7% in September. That's wonderful news. They jumped 9.7% in September from August. But we saw that there was huge sales, liquidation sales, because so many of these stores are going out of business. So a lot of 50% off sales. People were taking advantage of it. Clothing stores were up. They jumped 11% in September from August. So again, people out buying the latest Nikes. They're out buying clothes. Big box stores up 0.6% in September from August. Restaurant and bars rose 2.1% in September from August. But remember, most of these sales are down from a year ago. So let's remember that. Sports stores, bookstores, music stores up 5.7% in September, yet down year over year. Furniture stores were up 4.6% from a year ago. People continue to spend even if they're broke. These people, in my opinion, are completely oblivious. All this, ladies and gentlemen, is unsustainable. You pull the plug on all this government money, all this stimulus, and where are we at? We're seeing, they're talking up to 25,000 stores in total could close in 2020. We're seeing 40, 50 million people jobless right now. We're seeing, or we just saw this last Thursday, first time unemployment claims, 900,000. We are hemorrhaging jobs, manufacturing. Here's some more. After a brief uptick, commercial construction backlog falls again. That's on the Hedge. Another one on the Hedge. U.S. industrial production unexpectedly tumbled in September. And here's a good one right here. This is all over the internet. Wall Street Journal, the Hedge, CNBC. U.S. budget gap tripled to record $3.1 trillion in fiscal 2020, Treasury says. This is 90% more money going out than coming in. Could you imagine if your household was spending 90% more than you made? How long would you last? You would be done and over with very, very quickly. Yet this country is spending, it's not spending a little more than it makes, it's spending 90% more money, meaning more money going out than coming in. This is 100% unsustainable. Just like these bubbles, they are 100% unsustainable. This economy is 100% unsustainable. It is completely now reliant on the government to pump money into people's bank accounts in order for them to go out and spend money that they don't have. This is really just unbelievable what we're watching take place. If the government wasn't giving people money, it would be over. How come the government just doesn't say, look, we need to start promoting jobs, we need to start promoting manufacturing, we cannot continue to acquire this debt because it can never be paid back. They don't even talk about paying it back at this point. All they talk about is how many more trillions of dollars that they're going to have to pump in to this economy, into corporations, into banks, into the stock market. And unfortunately, most of this money is not trickling down to most Americans. They're getting just enough to go out and buy a television, to go buy a pair of Nikes, to go buy a pair of jeans. But what kind of opportunity does this mean down the road for Americans? What happens when the food shortages get here? What happens when all these people, when these moratoriums expire with rent, when the forbearances end with these mortgages? Are people going to survive on a $1,200 stimulus check? And in my opinion, there will be no more stimulus in 2020. So it just makes me wonder, how are people going to Christmas shop? If the government is not injecting money into their bank accounts, not sending them a check, how are they going to survive? And right now they're surviving because they don't have to pay rent. They don't have to pay a mortgage. I think there's 3 million auto loans in forbearance right now too. We knew last year there were 7 million people severely delinquent 90 days plus. In the good times in 2019. Now we have 3 million plus people in forbearance on top of the 7 million. So these people telling you things are great, they're great in their state. Then I look up the amount of debt in their state. Their state's broke, their state is bankrupt, massive amount of people on food stamps, massive unemployment. Look, this is getting really, really bad. And it's going to end very, very bad. And I make these videos because I love this country. I care about all Americans, and I don't want to see people get hurt. And I think that most of you understand that and get what's happening. To the people that don't, I really pray that you open up your eyes. I pray that you take this weekend and you go out and you buy yourself some canned food, you buy yourself some water supplies, you buy yourself an education and open your eyes. You know, knowledge is power. And if you want to continue to believe everything that TV tells you, that's fine. We all have free will, and I'm exercising mine. And what I see, and I do this daily, I read every day what's going on. I look at the numbers, and the television's saying one thing, but how can all this, whether you say everything is good in your state or in your town, how can everything be okay when your country, the United States of America, is now exceeding $27 trillion of debt, $200 trillion of debt with Medicare, Medicaid, and unfunded liabilities. When you look at the unfunded pensions in America, when you look at the robbing of Social Security, and yet you're saying everything is okay because everything is okay in your little town, or everything is okay in your state, even though your state is bankrupt, even though the unemployment numbers in your state are record-breaking. Everything is okay. Everything is okay because either you're getting a government check and everything's okay with that, and that's acceptable to you, or you have a good job right now and you have a good income, so everything's okay. Everything's okay as long as everything is okay for you. But you don't take into account millions, tens of millions of Americans who are out of work right now. This country isn't manufacturing very much. We're running up debt. People are spending money they don't have. We have an economy based on consumption of people spending money they don't have. How do you think America wins at the end? When we look at people's net worth, people's retirement savings, half this country has zero money saved up for retirement. Literally half this country has zero money saved up right now, period. They are a flat tire away from being homeless, yet you believe everything is okay. And look, that's, you know, your opinion. I completely disagree. When I read what I'm reading, when I drive around in the state of California, I'm very concerned with what I'm seeing. And when I see the food shortages and the food lines in other states, you know, people say, well, it's all California's fault. No, it's happening everywhere. Look at the city of Chicago. It's bankrupt. The state of Illinois, bankrupt. New Jersey, bankrupt. People are fleeing. You look at the thousands upon thousands of businesses closed in New York, never coming back. People are fleeing. You look at the debt to so many of our cities and states. This isn't just a California thing. It is growing across America like leprosy. And if you live in a state that is doing well, and there are a few, God bless you, but for the most part, most of the states in America are broke, just like this country. And if you think a bankrupted country isn't going to affect your state or your standard of living, you are delirious. You really are. But I'm going to leave it there today. Have a wonderful weekend. Again, you know, in my opinion, people who are prepared shouldn't be scared. They shouldn't be paranoid. You know, I'm going to have a wonderful day because I'm doing the best I can. I'm preparing with security, food, water, cash reserves, assets. And if nothing happens, great. I hope nothing does happen. I really don't, because it's not going to change my life one bit. My life changes only when things get bad in America. And unfortunately, the people who haven't prepared, their life doesn't just change. Their life becomes a nightmare. They become statistics. They become casualties to the fallout of what's going to happen financially here in America. Because we know what happens financially is going to fall out into the streets of America, and it's going to be a very, very ugly time. But again, a lot of people want to live in La La Land, fantasy land. They believe that, you know, this is just make-believe. That what I'm saying here is just doom and gloom. These people are the ones living in fantasy land. They're in La La Land, and they're going to pay a severe price for it. So, you know, if they want to continue to ignore the message, hey, that's fine. I have family members that ignore the message. I have friends, associates, and that's fine. Don't come knocking at my door when the bad times get here, because the tough times are coming to America. And the thing that we all have to take into consideration is America has gotten so soft. You know, when you have adult men playing video games and you know, addicted to reality TV and porn and drugs, just imagine how these people are going to cope with their anxiety and their stress when they're not eating, when they have no money, when they're homeless. It's going to be a whole new ball game, ladies and gentlemen. Most Americans have gotten very soft, very obese, and very dumbed down. And when this depression goes full blown, these people are going to be living in a full blown nightmare. Their anxiety, their depression, their pharmaceutical use is going to skyrocket. And we have a country now that is just so soft, and we're going to go into the worst depression the world has ever seen. I believe this is going to make 1929 look easy. I really do. And those people back then were tough. They knew how to survive. Most people today can barely operate a microwave oven, okay? That's the facts. And so most people just cannot be self-reliant. They can barely tie their own shoes. And we're going into a severe depression. I'll tell you, a lot of people are going to be swept out to sea. They're not coming back. Don't be one of them. The masses are going to get destroyed here, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you're preparing. God bless all of you. Have a wonderful weekend. Make sure that you continue preparation over the weekend. And remember, knowledge is power. Open your eyes. Start thinking for yourselves.